It is to have awareness. Awareness of yourself. If you start to become aware of yourself, you start to become aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're aware of yourself. First, you're going to see yourself. Then you're going to look at yourself not according to your own eyes too, but according to the people that matter to you. Majority of the times now, people are looking at themselves through the eyes of those people that don't matter to them, or the eyes of those ones that they are trying to impress. But in reality, those ones, they don't even know they exist. You're trying to impress them, and they don't care about you. But you want to be like them. So once you start to become aware, then you can fix. If you're not aware, you cannot fix. But how do you come to this situation where you are going to be aware? This is when you need a guide. You need a mirror to make you to become aware. How many times we are saying, you can be aware of the whole world. The eyes, wherever the eye sees, it may be thousands of miles, maybe, you can see. All the way to the horizon. You can see all the way to the skies, correct? You can see everything. You can see with a microscope all the way to the smallest particles. But these eyes, you cannot see yourself. With these eyes, you cannot see yourself. The limit that you can see also is maybe everything around you, but importantly, you cannot see your face. The eyes cannot see your face. Maybe you see a little bit of your nose. You see your hands. You can see the front. The back, not too interesting. But you cannot see your face. And the identity of a man is in his face. It's in the face. And from the face, the identity and the light comes not from the tongue, not from the nose. It comes from the eyes. So now you have to learn how to see yourself. You have to learn how to be aware. This is what tariqat is going to teach you. Why is that important? Once you are aware of yourself, you are starting then to become aware of how you look to Allah, to the Prophet ﷺ, to the awliya Allah. You're going to become aware. Turn off all of that. Heavy sohbat coming non-stop. Distraction. Yes, you're going to be aware of the time. You're going to be aware of the space. You're going to be aware of the air. When it starts changing, you know that something is happening. Now, instead of moving, jumping, doing something, I must pull back and I must watch. Because something is happening, I must pull back. Ego says, you have to do something. There's something. I said, no, I have to sit. Because this is a very unusual time. You start to become aware. Awareness. We are not going to talk about the principles of the Naqshb and the order. But from this small sohbat, we can understand a little bit of what it means to be aware. So you're going to become aware through the eyes of the awliya Allah, not through your own eyes too. First step is to be aware with your own eyes, yes, definitely. Because before you accept a guide, you are aware that you need a guide. Do you understand? That awareness of needing a guide has to come from you. It cannot be forced. There are so many, they are born in tariqat. But we're looking, they're not following a guide. They're not following their shaykhs. They're not following their murshids. They're just born in tariqat. Because their shaykh, their father follows a shaykh, their grandfather follows a shaykh, or they themselves, they belong to that lineage. So they continue and they continue generation after generation. But you see, they're not moving with guidance and they're not moving with a secret. It becomes like a ritual, a tradition, but there is no sir. So your question, saying that in that hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, where the Holy Prophet alayhi salam is saying, when Jibreel alayhi salam came to teach him his religion, that he said to the Sahabi Kiram, not to teach the Holy Prophet alayhi salam, to teach the Sahabis and to teach us. Make no mistake, Jibreel alayhi salam is not there to teach the Prophet alayhi salam. And he's asking a series of questions. We're not going to go into it so much. And the last question is, what is ihsan? And the Prophet ﷺ is saying, and I'm going to change a little bit about your question, okay? And the answer is saying to worship Allah as if you see Him, correct? And if you cannot see Him, to know that He is seeing you. And you say, how do you move to that point of ihsan, to that point of beauty, to that point of sincerity? Not at that point where we're seeing Allah. Because if you have reached to that point, we cannot speak about it. Those who have reached to that point, they cannot speak about it. They can only speak to those ones who have seen Allah. We may speak about doing and worshipping, knowing that Allah sees us. But you are saying it is very difficult station to do everything knowing that Allah is watching us, correct? What is that station? That knowing that Allah is watching us all the time. That is a station of what? Taqwa. That is taqwa. So how do we reach to the station of taqwa, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us all the time? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Fazkuruni azkurkum. Remember me and I will remember you. Remembering Allah. This is the general answer people are going to give. If you remember Allah, then you're going to be having taqwa, knowing that everything you do, Allah is watching, and you are in behaving and living as if you are in divine presence. Correct? Because Allah is looking at you, the Jali is looking at you. Of course, subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He puts one divine look in you, if He puts one divine look in the mountain will turn to dust. If He puts one drop of love inside to one of His servants will just go crazy if He cannot carry it, which none could. Remember the story of Hazrat Isa and that man who was worshipping and asking for just a drop of love, and coming back, and the man is completely lost. Mahzub. Because these circuits, they cannot carry that kind of divine lights. So how are we going to get taqwa now? General answer, yeah, just la ilaha illallah, just remember Allah, 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 and then everything you do, you're going to remember Allah to do. There is a zikr of the tongue. There's a zikr of the heart. There's a zikr just counting the names of Allah and repeating the names of Allah. Then there is a zikr of knowing Allah. Just as there are different looks of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put His divine look on us because we know we cannot carry. We are such weak creatures, we're such dirty creatures, we cannot carry that divine look. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were to look into our hearts with that divine look once, and if He does not see Himself in our heart, we have committed shirk. Correct or not? That's very heavy. Which is why Tariqat is saying, step by step, we will teach you the... Why is that echoing? Step by step, we are going to work towards that understanding. You cannot just jump. The intention is La ilaha illallah, but the way is Muhammad Rasulullah. You understand? With the way of Muhammad Rasulullah, you may reach to La ilaha illallah. So how are you going to reach to this level of taqwa, knowing that Allah is looking at you? Let me give you a story. There was once a Sahabi, and he wanted the secret of the zikrullah to be open. Not the secret that Allah is watching us and being with us to be open, but the secret that everything in creation is remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You understand? A long story short, that was stopped for him for some time. He was asking, and finally it was open to him. He was in a state where he needs that, because this is sohbat. We cannot go into too much details about it because there is adab of that. And he needed to use that to clean himself. Pebbles. When he picked it up to clean himself, that secret is open to him, and that pebble started saying Allah. He dropped it. He picked up another pebble, says Allah, Allah, Allah. He dropped it. Now everything around him is remembering Allah. Now he's stuck. He cannot clean himself, and everything that he touches that remembers Allah, it is too pure, too holy for him to use. Then he ran to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He's saying, Ya Rasulullah, please close this for me because I cannot carry it. So my question to you, you want to be aware of Allah all the time. Why?
One of the things that complete the question is another stepwise approach of being aware of Allah and aware of the Prophet. I'm sure that we want to get that point where you believe that she is much more
That's not my question. I'm going to tell you how to get to that point. My question is why?
Because
It's what?
the Prophet ﷺ, that's one thing that all Muslims should aim for, but it's trying to run more. Also because when you're aware of Allah, you try to watch yourself and try to be careful with what you know. The intention is also good.
Are you ready to carry that? No. You're not ready to carry it. Now people are going to misunderstand me, and they say, look, this Hoja is saying we should not remembering Allah. We should not be aware of Allah. If you think that way, you are free. What can I say? Then you don't understand what I'm trying to say. If you say, for instance, you want to go into the presence of the Khalifa because you love the Khalifa so much and you want to be in his presence. Like so many people, they love the Holy Prophet ﷺ so much. They want to be in his holy presence, right? Then I'm going to ask you why. Majority will not be able to answer that. They're just saying, oh, because it's such a blessing. So it's still a desire. Why do you want to go there? You know, I love it. It's nice feeling. So you're still at the very low level of faith, where your relationship to Allah and His Prophet is just to make you feel good. Just to make you feel good. Majority is like that. They enter the tariqat, they do zikr because of that, just to make them feel good. It is just another high. Because I'm a lover. I love Allah. I want to feel love. Love is sacrifice. Love is to serve. So now, when you enter into the presence of the Sultan, what are you entering into the presence as? I give you all the leads, all the hints to that. Now you know the answer. But before, how are you going to enter? Because as a person who loves the Khalifa, correct? But you have no proof of that, and you have no example of that. It is just an emotion, it is just a feeling. Now if you say you're going to enter into the presence of the Prophet ﷺ as a servant, then we're going to tell you, what is a servant doing in divine presence? Or divine presence of the Prophet. What is a servant doing? What is a servant doing in the court of the Sultan? For what? No. Servant is not in the presence of the Sultan. Servant has to go back. Correct or no? In reality, the servant does not approach to that presence until he is what? Until he is ordered, until he is called. So if you want to be in the presence of your Prophet ﷺ, or your Shaykh or your Khalifa, what are you coming as? And what do you want to take away? And why? These you got to understand first. Then if you're really convinced that you have to go to divine presence or holy presence, then we're going to ask you, are you ready? And you know you have to get ready. This is not a theoretical question. Are you ready? You have to be ready, correct? If you want to go up to the skies, you have to be ready. If you want to go deep into the ocean, you have to be ready. You have to prepare yourself. Now you enter into the holy presence. You have to be ready. What do you have to do? Let's talk about why later, but what do you have to do? What do you have to do to enter into their presence? Huh? You have to leave yourself behind. Which is why those who enter in the presence of just as a lover to his love, to his beloved, that you're saying, same level. You understand? You're beloved, I'm a lover, same level. But if you enter into the presence properly, you are going to say what? Just as our Grand Sheikh Abba Yazid Bistami Qaddasallahu Sirri is saying, knocking on the door of divine presence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, who is there? Abba Yazid Bistami is saying, it is I, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or divine voice saying, there is no room here for you and me. He had to go back He had to approach again after such a long time, knocking on the door. Voice is saying, "Who is there?" And he says, "You." Now with this, so many people are going to misunderstand. We're not going to talk to those no squarehead people. Meaning, we are here, we are trying to be nothing. This is our aim. La ilaha. The only being that is calling itself an ilah, it is our ego. La ilaha illallah. So if you're not understanding your ego, you can never come into presence. Then you're going to come into the divine presence with your ego. That time you make what? Shirk. Not even shaitan in divine presence made shirk. He disobeyed Allah, but he never claimed that he is also an ilah. So now, yes, easy. We are saying, all right, you want to enter into divine presence, you want to have. So these days, so many people are turn into such a big joke. Oh, if you wear one silver ring, you're already in divine union. You carry any sunnat, you're in divine union. We're in union with our ego. We're not in divine union. If it is so easy, then there are, 2 billion Muslims? Then everyone is in divine union, mashallah. Then this place, this earth, should be more than paradise. It is not every day is turning into a hell. Because we're getting wrong understandings. We bring Allah down, we make it very cheap. When we're saying things like this, other people blame us. Oh, you make it to be so difficult. You make it to be so difficult. Tariqat is not difficult. You know, I say, since when? Since when tariqat is not difficult? Which tariqat you belong to? They know how to study so much. They know how to quote classical scholars and saints. And every scholar and every saint saying, be careful from entering into this way. So many they have tried, and so many can get injured and they die before they reach. They warn, correct? Don't enter, because this is the way of what? This is the way of sacrifice. This is the way of hardship. This is the way of broken-heartedness. This is the way where you have to break this. You have to break this over and over again. Like Rubaiyat, you have to break that vessel, that clay jar, again and again. Allah is closer to us than our jugular vein. We are very far away from Him. Now, we have the intention that we want to remember Allah. Are we aware of the dirtiness that we are carrying? If we are aware, and we know it's very difficult to get rid of it, sometimes it is impossible. Sometimes we see, Allah, even when I pass from this world, I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of it unless Prophet ﷺ gives shafaat. I'm being sincere, I'm being honest. Correct? Of course, this is not to those ones who say, no, I can get rid of my hidden ilah. I can get rid of my bad habits. So easy. Now we're saying you can get rid of the habit, but you still have arrogance in your heart. So now, are we aware of all that dirtiness? Yes, we are. Our concentration must be to make today better than yesterday. Just that. Don't look at the end goal. Our today must be better than yesterday. Tomorrow has to be better than today. There is mercy in that too. Prophet ﷺ did not just stop with saying our today has to be better than yesterday. He says our tomorrow has to be better than today, because there are so many times we're trying our today to be better than yesterday, but it's worse than yesterday. Correct? But there is still tomorrow. You see the mercy there? There is still tomorrow. So we make the intention at least. Ya Rabbi, today I failed again, but tomorrow I'm making intention for it to be better than today. Are we wrong in the intention? No. Are we going to be rewarded for the intention? Yes. And if we know today I messed up by this, then tomorrow I'll try not to do that. Is Allah going to deny us His mercy? No, He's not going to. Maybe tomorrow we make new wrong things that we're doing. Then there is another occasion, another chance for us to ask for astaghfirullah, ask for tawbah, and to make again tomorrow better than today. And it goes on and on. The dargah, it is important. Only if you have that awareness. If you don't believe and you're not aware that your Shaykh is always looking at you, or if you block, knowing that the Shaykh is looking at you, but you're blocking it and you're putting it aside, in the dargah, if you become more aware of that, then that time, slowly, you're going to have taqwa. Then you're going to say, at least once a week in the sohbat, I'm going to pay attention. My ego and my shaitan is going to play tricks on me. I'm going to knock them out. I'm going to force myself not. At least during the zikr time, I'm going to put my heart into it. I'm not going to care so much. At least you're going to find so many at leasts. You understand? To say, I cannot have that taqwa 24 hours. I cannot carry it. But at least I'm going to find the zikr, the sohbat, the Jummah. Then you're going to move, at least the Fajr. Then you're going to say, at least every night, at least for the prayers, at least for this. Then you start doing it, pretty soon, then you'll find the majority of your time is just concerned on how you look to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you are concentrating on the words of your Shaykh. And the words of your Shaykh is nothing but teaching you Muhammad Rasulullah. That's why I get very upset with people. 24 hours they're working in the dunya, 7 days a week, 1 day a week that they're going to sit and just to remember Allah. We're not talking 1 hour, we're not talking 5 hours, we're talking about half an hour. Just to sit, just to say, Ya Rabbi, you're never forgetting me, but I'm always forgetting you. I just want to sit down here and I just want to be with you. Just to call you, just to be with you. And there are so many who can't even carry that. They don't want to. That's why we don't enter into this kind of sohbat often, because it puts the responsibility on you now. Do you understand? There we're saying holy days and holy nights. Oh, if you cannot make it, at least make it for holy days and holy nights. Oh, murids. They have so many excuses. Dunya is calling. Oh, I have to go to this. My cousin is coming. This one is getting married. This one is doing. Dunya is calling. But you are here to remember Allah. You have been created to know Allah. Oh, no, I remember. I can go to the wedding and still remember Allah. You're only fooling yourself. Understand? So easy. People saying die before you die. What happens when you die? You're going to be with your cousin? You're going to attend wedding? Huh? You're going to go to places? No. When you die, what happens? You're alone. No matter how much your family loves you, your loved one loves you, they're going to leave you. And you'll be alone, just with yourself. Oh, the way of the Sufi, to die before we die. Well, you cannot even cut yourself off for 1-2 hours once a week, or 1-2 hours once every 30 days, 40 days. So now, coming back to your question, how do we get this? We're nowhere near this. Don't ask for it. Because if that look is on you, you cannot get away with it. So many people, maybe they can get away with so many wrong things, but because they're looking at you, you cannot get away with it. You understand? May Allah forgive me. May Allah bless all of you. That's why when our Shaykh was here physically, I respect and admire people who can be with him so much, because I cannot. You know how it is. Imagine when you're doing something, you're eating, for instance, right? Eating. And then you see someone is staring at you. You feel comfortable? No. And person you don't even know. What if you're eating and you notice that you're eating, say, with 40 people, everyone is looking at you? Do you feel comfortable? No. What if you're eating and your Shaykh is looking at you? You cannot eat that time, because now that eating, you have to eat, but now he's watching every step. He's watching every beating of the heart. Correct? If my Shaykh is watching me eat, the first thing I'm going to say is, oh, I didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim with every mouthful. I'm not chewing with Allah. I'm not swallowing with Alhamdulillah. I'm in ghaflat. Do you understand? Yeah, maybe you can carry it maybe for 5-10 minutes, but you definitely cannot carry it every day. Now, if you can carry that in that very simple action, do that for 40 days, then you may ask for more. Then you may ask for more taqwa. I mentioned just 2 things, because Shaykh Effendi, the awliya Allah, they mentioned 2 things. What are they? Eating and worshipping, that's all. If you know how to eat properly, you know how to worship properly, then it's okay. Everything in between is nothing. We cannot even do that. I'm watching when people are eating at the dergah, what they're doing, what they're busy with inside, what they're busy with outside. Or they're dead, new style, dead. With the ni'mat of Allah, they eat. I'm looking, even my chickens, they have more appreciation of Allah. When they find something, they get very excited to eat. But regular people, they're eating food, or they become very sad and they're eating. Worst thing that you can do, the ni'mat of Allah. You see? So many things to think about. We're doing this every day. Who thinks about that? Man or woman? The women, when they start eating, Allah knows. Men's too. Gets even worse. Sometimes they gossip, sometimes they slander. Sometimes they look and, I don't like this. I like this person. Why is this? Yeah. So many things to think about. Do you understand? Now, when you start thinking about those things in those actions, you don't have to ask. You're going to know. You're going to feel. Like even if you're eating with a whole bunch of people, you will feel that someone is staring at you, right? You can feel that, right? Good. We have not trained ourselves to know that Allah is staring at us. How can we not? We must have dead in our hearts. So make your heart to become alive first. Remove all of that rust. Understand? And then be careful and pick the proper situations to have that. Otherwise, this will not be able to carry it. If you're not fixing it properly, if it's too rusty, so much power coming, it'll just zip, finish. ومن الله توفيق الفاتحة.